Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go, show recaps prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and I'm live for your Backlash recap show. I'm a few minutes late, obviously. This whole time zone thing has me all thrown off. Obviously, PLE's been over for a little while now. Yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, I didn't have very high expectations for the PLE going into it, but it wasn't terrible. I think WWE did a better job at the matches being a little bit longer. Obviously, the Danhausen stuff, I love Danhausen, but I was expecting a little bit. I guess I was expecting a little bit more out of the partner situation for Danhausen, but I mean the matches were fine. I mean, Io and Asuka was great. Tricking. Sammy delivered. I felt like. Seth and Braun was really good. It was a little botched, like a little clustery, a little bit. I think. I think it could have been better. Roman and Jacob was really good, and obviously, the way it ended. They're still teasing a lot about Roman and Seth, but I don't think Roman's completely done with Jacob. I mean, what else is Jacob gonna do at this point? Cody's basically tied up on SmackDown with Gunther at Clash in Italy, which will be the end of the month. So, we are live. It's May 9th, 2026 here on the EVP show. Shout out to Nikki Alliance for retweeting my LFG post, which is crazy. She's on the thumb. Miami made the thumb. I tagged her. I did tag her, but she reposted it. And she commented on it. So that's always good to see that. Superstars, it's hard enough to get on to even know who you are, but to have them repost one of your YouTube shows and then comment on it, pretty big deal. So shout out to Nikita Lyons for that. So couple announcements. Obviously, we talked about this last night. I want to say thank you to everybody that did tune into the SmackDown recap last night. I looked on YouTube this morning. I was like, holy shit! Almost at 200. I had almost at 200 views on SmackDown last night, which I don't remember even having 100 people in the stream. So thank you guys so much for that. I haven't even posted that I'm live. I probably need to do that. Seth and Braun was very clunky Stampede. So I'm going to get into all that. We're going to kind of briefly go over the pre-show. I'm not going to spend a shit ton of time on it. But we are going to go over it. Let everybody know that I am live. Second, but yeah, definitely shout out to Nikita Line for reposting the LFG stream for tomorrow, and she commented. And then her mom followed me on Instagram, so that's good stuff right there. Let me go ahead and post it on live. Get this out there, obviously. While I'm doing that, a couple announcements, like I said. As of right now, the Saturday Night Main Event and the Clash in Italy on PLE coming up this coming up week, but the next Saturday Night Main Event. Hopefully they start out the matches soon. I don't really like how they're doing back to back. I see MP that you tweeted it. Appreciate that. And if y'all watching live on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Thank you guys so much for the almost 200 views on YouTube last night. That's a really good deal. I appreciate that a lot. I retweeted it on live, so we'll get back.
Yeah.
Will Asuka be departing? If so, will Kana be reappearing? That's the way it looks like. It did to me. It looked like it was the end of Asuka. It did look like that. We'll see. Like, I don't know if she's retiring or if she's leaving WWE or if she's just going back babyface. Like I said, we talked about this on the Raw recap and the SmackDown recap. There's not a lot of credible faces right now for Liv Morgan on Raw with Stephanie McCourt out. They haven't pulled the trigger on Roxanne or Raquel yet. So I think Io is definitely going to be in line next. Asuka could be a possibility as well if she's going to be a face. Give Liv some matches. So, but yeah, I mean, it could be Kana too. I don't know. The way it ended, it definitely looked like it was like the end of the road, but you just really never know. It could be she's leaving WWE or she's turning face. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, so this coming up week, obviously there's no PLE. But then the week after that, we will be having a Saturday Night's Main Event prediction show. And then a week after that, we will be doing a Clash in Italy prediction show. I have one spot right now. It's kind of in limbo for Italy. So I may be reposting, opening up a spot for that. But hopefully between me and Stampede, we can probably fill it. Because they seem to fill up pretty quick. And I think I did tell someone that it was full. So we'll see. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So Wwe Backlash takes place from the Benchmark International Arena in Tampa, Florida. They said WWE has a stacked lineup, but there's some championship matches. I don't know about a stacked lineup, but Roman Reigns is going to defend the WWE Raw World Heavyweight Championship against Samoa Werewolf, which I think that match was phenomenal. I love the ending. A lot of people are like, oh, well, Jacob lost clean. Like, why would they run it back? Well, they're going to run it back because Jacob destroyed his ass, took out Adam Pearce and everybody else at the end. I mean, I don't know what else they could do with Roman right now and a couple of weeks' notice. Don't want to start a whole new feud with somebody else. And, I don't think they do Roman and Jacob at Saturday Night's Main Event, but definitely could be on the card for Italy. I felt like because it's only 2 weeks until Italy, so like you can't start a whole new program. And 2 weeks, like WWE's backed themselves in a corner having these 3 PLEs back to back like that. So, and then the United States Championships on the line with Trick Williams. But though Yachty in his corner defends against Sami Zayn. I'm in a little louder place, so hopefully it won't be too bad. After losing a title at WrestleMania 42, Sami is focusing on reclaiming the championship goal at Trick looks to continue to build on momentum. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker will finally collide when that match was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 42. But that match was kind of clunky in spots. But I don't think Seth is done with Braun or the Vision yet. He said it on post show, so Triple H loves trilogy. So plenty of bad blood between them two. Also on the card, something else we're supposed to see at WrestleMania is Io Sky taking on Asuka after months of tension between the two stars. And then Danhausen will also team with a mystery partner or partners. I think it was more of a comedy segment to face The Miz and Kit Wilson in tag team action. So the show kicked off early. Like, I literally missed the entire fucking pre-show because I'm on Central Standard Time my body just like I thought I was like an hour early, and like by the time I cut it on, like there were like Seth and Brian was about. I mean, they were singing the national anthem, so I missed the entire pre-show. Which I don't know if I missed anything, but so I've already went over the matches that we're gonna see. The pre-show panel was Michael Cole, Big E, Corey Graves, and Peter Rosenberg. Kathy Kelly, Byron Saxton, Jackie Redmond were serving as roving reporters. Kathy Kelly talked about Jacob Fatu introducing the tongue and death grip. Saxton pointed out that Fatu is desperate to win his first championship opportunity in his first ever PLE match. Jackie Redmond said Seth Rollins is looking to prove that even at 39 and coming off an injury, he's still at the top of his game. I did not know Seth Rollins was 39 years old. Big E said Braun Breaker is also coming back from injury, is looking to prove himself. And then aired a pre-recorded interview with Seth Rollins. He admitted return to the ring was a challenge and said he can't recover the way he used to. Obviously, when you start getting on up there in the late 30s and mid 40s, it does take that body a lot longer to recover. Seth Rollins said he was happy to get through the match, but felt like he had regressed. Seth Rollins was also asked about forming the division last year. He admitted that there may have been some insecurity involved and that there were a lot of different ideas about what WWE should be and where the company was headed. Seth Rollins said he wanted to establish himself as the leader of the company while also helping him bring the next generation up with him. He revealed he went to Shawn Michaels for advice and was told Braun Breaker was the best prospect. Rollins said he believed that if he could mentor Braun for a year or two, he could help turn him into a major money draw for WWE. After suffering his injury and being betrayed by Braun, Rollins admitted that he felt guilt and sadness, and he believed he had let the company down. While he understood why Braun did what he did, Rollins said he still couldn't get past the intense anger of everything that was taken away from him. They also went through Jacob Fatu's career timeline, including footage and highlights from his independent days. Fatu hadn't arrived to the arena yet. WWE immediately aired a backstage video of Fatu walking through the building while promising he was going to win the title tonight. Big E said Fatu wants the kind of money and career Roman Reigns has built for himself in WWE. Corey Graves pushed back on the idea that Fatu is desperate, saying he's making calculated moves. Corey Graves added Fatu understands a win tonight could completely change both his career and his family future. They showed segments from the gingerbread thing, which I'm not really a big fan of that. So I'm not going to really talk much about it. Kathy Kelly interviewed Sami Zayn. Despite being attacked the night before, Sami Zayn was just smiling during the interview, so Trick Williams has created an environment where people believe they can disrespect him. The panel shifted focus to the U.S. title match later tonight. We did see the Usos. We didn't see them in the main event, which was very weird because they were heavily involved in the storyline, but we saw them on the pre-show. Corey Graves talked to them about a package focus on FCW and its legacy. Jimmy Uso and discussed the FCW area along with Tom Pritchard's training system. Corey Graves explained the difference between FCW and modern day NXT, saying FCW often felt disorganized, with talent randomly disappearing the main roster without much explanation. He added that NXT now has stronger synergy structure between developmental and WWE's main roster. Jay and Jimmy also revealed that they are on standby for Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu later tonight. Then we got a video package hopping up the Io Scott versus Asuka match where the panel broke down the bout with the state. Later, we saw The Miz and Kit Wilson were interviewed backstage. Miz showed up wearing a t-shirt that read, "I'm not cursed." Byron Saxton interviewed Danhausen backstage and tried to get him to reveal his mystery partner for the match. Danhausen refused to give away the name and warned Saxton that if he asked again, he would be cursed. Hour 2 kicked off with the ESPN simulcast showing Triple H arriving to the arena again. New era. WWE went back to Michael Cole's interview with Seth Rollins. We've already kind of talked about that. We saw WWE, which I did like. WWE aired a video featuring Charlotte Flair's relationship with Scarlett, a young girl was diagnosed with a brain mass at 5 years old. That's a terrible situation, but Charlotte, doing a really good thing there. The panel looked back at several of the biggest matches and final moments from Roman Reigns' career ahead of his main event tonight. So, retired military servicewoman Sonia Bryson Kirksey perform the national anthem tonight. WWE noted that she has previously sung for the Tampa Bay Lightning, the hockey team as well. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary for tonight's show. So the WWE Backlash, the first hour was live on ESPN. It kicked off with Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, who was accompanied by Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins opened the match aggressively, landing a kick that sent Braun Breaker to the floor. Seth followed up with a suicide dive to the outside. Seth Rollins kept the pressure on with punches before throwing Braun back into the ring. He then clotheslined Breaker over the top rope and immediately connected with another suicide dive. Braun Breaker fired back with a knee strike before launching Seth Rollins over the ringside barrier and into the crowd area. Rollins answered with a clothesline that sent Braun back toward ringside before both men returned to the ring. Seth went to the top rope, but Braun caught him coming off the turnbuckles and delivered a huge overhead belly-to-belly suplex that sent Seth Rollins crashing to the floor. Braun stayed on the attack outside the ring, kicking Seth and driving knees into him before slamming him into the apron. Seth Rollins tried to fight back with a chop, but Braun answered with a double-leg takedown and a series of punches. Back inside the ring, Braun hammered Rollins with a shoulder strike in the corner, followed by punches to the midsection. He then hit a suplex for only a count of 2. Seth created some separation with punches, but Braun quickly shut him down with a German suplex. Braun Breaker slowed the pace of the match down with a reverse chinlock, continuing to wear Seth Rollins down. Rollins battled out with a jawbreaker and followed up with several chops, trying to build momentum. Braun quickly cut him off with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for only a count of 2. Braun then grabbed Seth by the hair and continued targeting his neck. Braun Breaker kept control with a rear chinlock before transitioning into a reverse chinlock. Seth finally created an opening with a belly-to-back suplex, leaving both men down on the mat. Seth Rollins started firing back with punches, but Braun answered with a hard clothesline for only a count of 2. Braun stayed in control with a series of German suplexes, hit 3 straight before covering Seth for another near fall. A lot of near falls in this match. Rollins then slapped Braun in his face, which only fired Breaker up. Braun responded with a punch, shoved Seth in the corner, and drove his shoulder into him. Braun placed Seth on the turnbuckles and went for a Frankensteiner, but Seth Rollins shoved him away. Braun quickly recovered, climbed back up, and nailed the Frankensteiner anyway, but Seth Rollins kicked out at the count of 2. Braun Breaker continued targeting Seth Rollins with knees to the midsection before sending him out to the floor. Braun charged outside, looking for a flying shoulder tackle, but Rollins stopped him with a super kick. Both men barely made it back into the ring before the count. Rollins started building momentum with the forearm in the corner, followed by a series of short arm clotheslines, though Braun refused to go down. Seth kept firing away with forearms and punches until he finally forced Braun to his knees. Seth then connected with a running clothesline for a count of 2. He followed up with a stomp, but he didn't get all of the stomp, allowing Braun to kick out at 2 from the stomp. Seth Rollins followed up with boots to Braun Breaker's head and looked to go for another stomp, but Braun avoided it and grabbed Seth's leg. Braun then powered Rollins up over his head and drove him down with a double knee gutbuster. He later charged for a spear, but Seth countered with a kick. Braun answered by surprising everyone with a moonsault for a near fall. He went up to the turnbuckles again and punched away at Seth, but Rollins fought back, grabbed Braun, and connected with a buckle bomb. Braun immediately fired back with a clothesline, leaving both men down in the ring. Seth Rollins rolled out to the floor, was seen holding his wrist after the previous exchange. Braun Breaker stayed on the attack, sending Rollins into the announce table before climbing onto the apron. Braun then launched himself with a flying clothesline, crashing into Seth as both men went over the announce table. Braun Breaker went to the top rope, but Seth Rollins exploded upward, looking for a superplex. but Bryan countered in midair with a Falcon Arrow, but Seth Rollins kicked out at 2. Bryan kept the pressure on with shoulder attacks in the corner, before placing Seth back on the turnbuckles. He attempted a superplex, but Seth Rollins blocked it, shoved Braun away. Braun Breaker recovered instantly and hit another Frankensteiner. Braun stayed aggressive, punching Seth and setting him up on the turnbuckles once again. He connected with yet another Frankensteiner, but this time Seth somehow landed on his feet. Braun looked completely stunned. Seth Rollins capitalized with 2 super kicks. He went for a third, but Braun Breaker blocked it. Seth responded with a pedigree, followed by the stomp. Just as the referee started counting, Paul Heyman jumped onto the apron to distract the official and obviously got Seth Rollins' attention. And Seth Rollins left outside the ring and went to get a chair because he knew that the Vision was not far away. Rollins snapped, grabbed a chair from under the ring, and then out comes Austin Theory and Logan Paul to try to get involved, but Seth took both men out with the chair before chasing them to the back. When Rollins finally returned to the ring, Braun caught him with a spear the moment he stepped through the ropes. Even then, Breaker could only get a count of 2, so Seth Rollins kicked out of the first spear by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker then pulled the straps down and signaled for the warp spear. Seth Rollins countered with a pedigree. Rollins then went up top looking for the stomp. He was going to hit the stomp off the top rope, but Braun exploded out of nowhere with a spear. And then Braun Breaker followed it up with the warp spear and finally got the full acceleration on that warp spear. I went for the pinfall attempt and got the 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker wins the first match, which I think they're going to have at least 1 more, if not 2. But Braun Breaker was victorious over Seth Rollins on the opening match of Backlash tonight. So pretty good match, a little clunky, but definitely a good start to the feud. Like I said, I think Seth is eventually going to go after Roman, but I think he's going to have to. He said on the post show, like, he's still going to be dealing with the Vision too. So I think Bronson Reed's on his way back there too. I thought we might see him tonight, but no appearances. So Braun Breaker wins the opening match. I'm going to give it about a 6.5, maybe a 7 top. It was, like I said, it wasn't terrible, but it was kind of a little clunky at times, but it was a pretty decent match. So Corey Graves and Big E discussed the opening match and questioned whether anyone would step up to help Seth Rollins after all the interference and help Braun Breaker win. Seth Rollins actually had nobody to back him up. And he did speak about that in the post show, about how he's got no one to come out there and help him. It's 3 against 1. The numbers game is stacked against him. So backstage, Captain Kelly asked Trick Williams about Sami Zayn's comments from earlier in the night. Trick told Sami to stop lying and say he's the puppet master who is running everything right now. So we go to our second match of the night, and the second match live on ESPN for free before you had to go in and watch it on either on your cable provider or on the ESPN Unlimited app. And that is for the United States Championship. Trick Williams, accompanied to the ring by Lil Yachty versus Sami Zayn. So Trick and Sami locked up to start the match, with Trick backing Sami into the corner. Sami Zayn broke clean, but landed a chop on the way out. Sami followed with a side headlock, but Trick answered with a flying clothesline. Trick kept control with chops, a backhand slap, and kicks in the corner. Sami was sent to the floor after an Irish whip, and Trick followed him outside. While Sami exchanged words with Yachty at ringside, Trick attacked him from behind. Sami fought back by sending Trick into the ring steps. He then grabbed the steel steps himself before tossing them aside and going after Lil Yachty while Trick got back into the ring. Sami Zayn took control with a series of punches before locking in a crossface on Trick Williams. Sami followed with a chop and a clothesline before picking up a near fall count of 2. He stayed on the attack and scored another near fall moments later. After slapping Trick on the mat, Sammy turned his attention toward Lil Yachty at ringside, which gave Trick an opening to hit a neck breaker. Trick Williams fired away with punches and uppercut before connecting with a jumping side kick and a slam. As Trick tried to pull Sami Zayn up off the mat, Sammy countered with an arm drag. Trick answered with a thrust kick and looked for his jumping knee strike, but Sami Zayn blocked it. Trick Williams then recovered quickly, applying Sammy with a Uranagi for a count of 2. Trick then placed Sammy on the turnbuckle, but Sammy followed him off with elbows and punches. Sammy followed with forearms before hitting a sunset flip powerbomb for a count of 2. Hopefully we're done with Sammy and Trick after this. Sami Zayn set up for a Luva kick, but Trick Williams stopped him with a fierce thrust kick. Trick then missed a jumping side kick, allowing Sammy to hit a Blue Thunder Bomb, but Trick Williams kicked out at 2. Sammy followed with a punch, and they tried to leap over Trick, but his knee gave out during the move. The referee checked on Sammy's knee as Trick waited before going back on the attack. Sammy caught him off guard with an inside cradle, but Trick kicked out at 2. So Yachty then got up on the ring apron, distracted the referee, and Sammy used the opening to hit Trick with the candy cane. At this point, I was like, oh shit, are we going to not see a title change here? Even with the weapon shot, Sammy could only get a count of 2 on Trick Williams after hitting him with the candy cane. Sami Zayn unloaded with kicks on Trick Williams in the corner before the referee pulled him back toward the center of the ring. Sammy then charged in for the Haluva kick, but Lil Yachty hit him with the candy cane behind the referee's back. Trick immediately capitalized with the jumping knee strike, but Sammy still managed to kick out. Sami Zayn kicked out of Trick Williams' finishing move. Sami Zayn sent Trick Williams to the floor before going after Lil Yachty at ringside. Sammy punched Lil Yachty and blasted him with the candy cane. Trick recovered and closed on Sammy into the ring steps. Trick then tried to hit a Uranagi on the steps, but Sammy countered with a DDT on the steel steps instead. Sammy rolled Trick back into the ring and nailed Lil Yachty with a Haluva kick on the outside. So Lil Yachty took a beating tonight. Sammy then charged for another Haluva kick on Trick, but Trick avoided it and connected with the I believe it's a trick shot. The running jumping knee for the 1, 2, 3. So Trick Williams successfully defended his United States Championship against Sami Zayn in a hard-fought battle. I'm going to give this match about a 6. I like Lil Yachty being committed and all that, but we've already seen Sammy and Trick. It wasn't terrible. It didn't overstay its welcome. I did feel like all the matches tonight were a lot longer than the matches at WrestleMania. I think they kind of had to do that with only 5 matches on the card. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't my favorite. But it wasn't terrible. I would give it about a 6, probably, something like that. So then Lil Yachty celebrated with Trick Williams after the match, and they were throwing. Lil Yachty ended up saying they threw like $1,000 at once. Like he was just throwing dollar bills everywhere. And while Trick posed with the WWE United States Championship, meanwhile Sami Zayn sat frustrated at ringside after coming up short once again, which is ultimately it's ultimately going to lead to the Sami Zayn heel turn. It's got to be. So then the broadcast signed off from ESPN2, but the rest of the show continues exclusively on the ESPN app, ESPN, and any cable provider. So the first match on the ESPN Unlimited, or if you have it on Hulu Live, or any of your cable providers, I believe it's Comcast or whichever ones that you guys have the ESPN Unlimited through. I just have the regular app. We had Danhausen, and I believe it was El Torito. They said it was. May be wrong on that, but I just call him Minihausen. But I believe it was El Torito, I believe. or El Torador. It was one of those two. I'm not 100% sure. But it was Danhausen and Minninghausen versus The Miz and Kit Wilson. So they had a big stage, obviously. Like he brought out this like some machine, like I don't know. It was very well like drawn out, come out of a box. Obviously, like and obviously, after a while in the match, we ended up seeing a bunch of little mini houses running around everywhere. So the match started off. Kit Wilson started the match off with the mini housing. He kicked him and then he posed, started doing his little dance. Mini housing fired back with a chop and kick before hitting a springboard forearm and a head scissors takedown, which I was like, damn, he could really go. The Miz tagged in, but Minninghausen stayed in control with a satellite head scissors. Kit tried to hold him in place, but Minninghausen kicked him away and hit a rope assisted kick on Miz. He then attempted a Hurricane Rana on Kit. Kit blocked it. Minninghausen recovered quickly and sent Kit Wilson to the floor with a Hurricane Rana. Minninghausen went up top and hit a crossbody onto both Miz and Kit on the outside. Danhausen then rolled Kit back into the ring. Momentum shifted when Miz sent Danhausen into the ropes, allowing Kit to land a kick by Miz on Minninghausen. Kit drove Minninghausen into the turnbuckle before tagging Miz back in. Miz lifted Minninghausen over his head and connected with a power slam. Miz and Kit followed with the delayed double vertical suplex before Miz stepped aside and let Kit continue to attack alone. Kit picked up back-to-back near falls before slowing things down with a reverse chin lock. Kit Wilson put Minninghausen on the turnbuckles in the tree of woe and drove shoulder into him. Kit charged for an elbow in the corner, but Minninghausen avoided it and answered with a moonsault on Kit Wilson. The Miz gets a hot tag with Danhausen. The regular Danhausen also got the tag and cleaned house with a reverse atomic drop and clothesline. Danhausen actually looked pretty good in the ring tonight. Danhausen followed with the Northern Light suplex and then unloaded with clotheslines in the corner before getting a second burst and doing it again. Danhausen then delivered a Tornado DDT on Miz and booted Kit Wilson. Kit shoved Miz out of the way. Miz caught Danhausen with a roll-up for a count of 2 before following it up with a big boot. Minninghausen then jumped back into the action, hitting Miz in the corner while connecting with a Hurricane Rana on Kit and sent him over the top rope to the floor. Minninghausen followed with a suicide dive. Minninghausen chased Kit to the back. Kit cut him off with a kick and shoved him back into that machine. It was like a time machine type thing before slamming the door shut. But then all these lights and stuff come up. Obviously, that machine that obviously didn't work for Danhausen started working. When the door reopened, multiple Minninghausen came pouring out after apparently mutating inside the machine. They chased Kit Wilson back to the ring. It was several of them, like 7 or 8. And one of them hit an airplane spin. Kit Wilson grabbed the mirror, obviously for the curse. But Miz connected with the skull crushing finale, but they kicked out at 2. Danhausen then pulled me. Oh, he was about to pin Minninghausen, but Danhausen came through the rope, jumped through, and interrupted the pinfall at 2. Miz was about to pick up the pinfall victory right there. Danhausen pulled Minninghausen back to the corner for a tag, but Miz punched Danhausen to stop it. Danhausen fired back with a death press and punched before clotheslining the Miz over the top rope to the floor, and then did the exact same thing to Kit Wilson. Miz sent Danhausen into the announce table before grabbing a fire extinguisher. Miz accidentally sprayed both himself and Kit Wilson with it during the chaos. Minninghausen hit a crossbody onto Kit on the floor while the action broke down around ringside. Back in the ring, Danhausen connected with a bicycle kick to score 1, 2, 3. So the winners of the tag team match is, I believe it's El Torito, I believe it's from AAA. and Danhausen, which was no surprise. I went 5-0, by the way, on these predictions. It was pretty easy to predict tonight. But Danhausen and Minihausen was victorious tonight in this tag team match. So we go to the mini main event, something that most of the IWC has been clamoring for. There was a lot of speculation with Kairi Sane show up tonight. I didn't think she would. It's a prediction show. Also, shout out to everybody that came in, the 1,300 people that watched WWE Backlash prediction show. I didn't think Kairi Sane was showing up. I mean, I did hear the chants for a little while, but I didn't think she was coming back. So we get Io Sky versus Asuka, which for me, I mean, Roman and Jacob was pretty damn good, but Io and Asuka was right there. Phenomenal match. Definitely an 8.5 for me for the Io and Asuka for sure. So the match started off with loud "We Want Kairi" chants. So they were chanting for Kairi at the beginning of the match, but Io Sky and Asuka did a phenomenal job shifting the crowd away from that and really getting them invested into the match. So hats off to Io Sky and Asuka for that. Io and Asuka started things off with a filling out process, trading takedowns and clean breaks early in the match. After one break, Asuka shoved Io, and the intensity quickly picked up. The two exchanged forearms and side headlock before Io hit a shoulder tackle, though neither woman went down easily. Asuka answered with more forearms, but Io responded with a handspring into a leg sweep followed by a drop kick. Io kept the pressure on with the kicks in the corner, but Asuka fired back with a forearm. The exchange continued with both women trading strikes until Asuka sent Io to the mat, only for Io to spring right back up with a handspring. Io then hit a drop toe hold that sent Asuka into the turnbuckle before connecting with a hesitation double knee strike for a count of 2. Asuka rolled to the floor to regroup, but back on the apron, Asuka landed a forearm and tried to send Io into the turnbuckle, but Io blocked it and answered with a back elbow of her own. Io went for an side moonsault to the outside, but Asuka cut her off by tripping her up on the ropes before blasting her with a forearm. Asuka took control by sending Io Sky into the ringside barrier and the apron before breaking the referee's count and heading back outside. Asuka followed with a quad kick and then trapped Io in a Boston Crab using the ropes for extra pressure. She continued the attack by choking Io against the ropes. So then Asuka throws Io up against the ropes, but Io fights back with forearms. Asuka shut her down with a round kick, close near fall before continuing to unload with punches and kicks. Io finally created an opening by countering into a victory roll and transitioning into a double stomp. Io Sky fired back with a back fist and a Showtime strike. Asuka sent her toward the corner with an Irish whip, but Io landed on the apron. Dropped Asuka's arm across the top rope and went up top. Io connected with a missile dropkick and followed it with a running double knee strike in the corner for a near fall. Asuka blocked a butterfly backbreaker attempt and answered with a series of kicks before landing a flying kick for a near fall of her own. Asuka missed a round kick moments later, allowing Io to score a quick roll-up for only a count of 2. Io followed with a back heel kick for another near fall before trying to keep control with a waist lock. Asuka reached the ropes, but Io stayed aggressive and hit a German suplex with a bridge for a close 2 count. Asuka then trapped Io in a Fujiwara armbar. Io escaped with a kick, leaving both women down. Asuka quickly transitioned into the Asuka lock after a takedown, but Io escaped with elbows. Io answered with a facebuster, only for Asuka to grab her in a cross arm breaker. Io countered by rolling through into an Asuka lock of her own while adding body scissors. Asuka struggled, but eventually reached the ropes to force the break. Io Sky went to the top rope looking for a superplex, but Asuka fought her off and climbed up herself. Io stopped her with a showtie, followed with forearms on the turnbuckles before hitting a Frankenstein. Asuka rolled through the move into a sunset flip for another near fall. Asuka went for the running hip attack, but Io Sky avoided it, causing Asuka to get tangled into the ropes. Io then dropkicked her to the floor. Io looked for a suicide dive, but Asuka stopped her with a punch. Asuka placed Io on the top of the announce table, tried to suplex her on it, but Io blocked the attempt. Asuka followed with a kick and tried to use the miss, but Io grabbed, I believe it was, it was Wade Barrett's folder. So Asuka ended up blowing the miss into Wade Barrett's folder to block the spray. Io then avoided another kick, dropped down to the floor, and drove Asuka's knee into the announce table. She followed it up with a crossbody off the table onto Asuka at ringside. Io Sky followed it up with a side moonsault before rolling Asuka back into the ring. Io went up top looking for the moonsault, but Asuka got her knees up and immediately transitioned to a cross arm breaker. Io escaped, but Asuka locked in a triangle submission. Io managed to counter it into a near fall before Asuka trapped her in the Asuka lock. And at this point, I thought the match was over. Io looked like she was about to pass out. Io nearly passed out, but rolled through. Eventually, when the referee started dropping her arm down, she put the move over and turned it into a pinfall attempt, but Asuka kicked out. The two then started trading slaps and punches in the middle of the ring. Asuka blocked a round kick and hit a German suplex, but Io answered with one of her own. Io then connected with the running double knee strike before heading to the top rope one more time. This time she hit the moonsault, the side moonsault off the top rope for the 1, 2, 3, and Io Sky was victorious tonight against Asuka. The feud is now over. After the match, Io and Asuka shared a lot of hugs and sentiments. So we're either seeing the last of Asuka or we're going to get a babyface Asuka. Can't wait to see what transpires Monday on Raw. But Io Sky is definitely headed towards that World Heavyweight Women's World Championship that Morgan currently has right now. So then, obviously, they advertised it last week and a half. Everybody was speculating, was it going to be about the WWE Club, ID, whatever it's called. But we've seen the never seen 17, the greatest of all time. John Cena came to the ring and said the moment felt so cool. He joked that he could finally enjoy moments like this because nobody was about to run down the aisle and kick his teeth in. Cena thanked the fans for their energy and gratitude before talking about what the next phase of his WWE career could look like. The crowd started chanting one more match. Cena admitted he had been thinking a lot about his final match. He acknowledged that some people were upset by how things ended, but said he was genuinely happy because the night became about something bigger than himself. Don't think we're going to see John Cena back in the ring, guys. Think you guys can put that away. John Cena explained that he wanted WWE superstars to help give opportunity to NXT talent in front of major crowds so they could prove themselves. He specifically mentioned Sol Ruka, Javon Evans, and Obafemi, and you even seen John Cena doing a imitation of the Obafemi strut. Cena pointed out that Obafemi debuted in December and then quickly found himself headed toward WrestleMania to kick Brock Lesnar's ass. Cena then revealed that WWE would be doing it again, but this time they would be launching the John Cena Classic. He described it as a special event featuring the best WWE superstars competing against the best NXT talent to showcase the future of the company. So I don't know if this is going to be on a PLE or if it's, I don't know how they're going to set this up. It's a special event featuring the best WWE superstar competing against the best NXT talent. So I don't know how they do this. I don't know if they do it at PLE. We'll see. Cena also unveiled a brand new championship tied to the concept. It will be the John Cena Classic Championship. He said he was putting his own name behind it and promised it would represent a high level of excellence. He added that the biggest superstar in WWE is the WWE Universe itself. For the first time, fans would directly vote on the winner, meaning someone that may not technically win the match, but could still earn the audience respect and vote through hustle and heart. I like that. Cena said the idea represents everything he stands for and promised he would continue giving everything he has for as long as possible. Before ending the segment, Cena thanked Obafemi for helping him make the idea happen. So maybe this is the title they're going to end up putting on Obafemi right now. He thanked WWE for taking a chance on it and thanked the fans watching at home, along with the crowd in Tampa Bay, Florida. Cena closed by saying Tampa will always mean a lot to him. And he said, now it is time for the main event. And it's also time for the main event here on the EVP show on the Backlash Recap. WWE Raw World Heavyweight Champion, the OTC1 Tribal Chief Roman Reigns defending against the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu. Jacob came out first, followed by Roman with old music. I did see that WWE trademarked on the head of the table, so that means Roman's going back very old school to the beginning, back at the beginning of that long run he had. So Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu stand across the ring from each other in their respective corners before finally locking up. Roman grabbed a side headlock and followed it with a shoulder tackle, but Fatu immediately popped back to his feet. Jacob Fatu answered back with a side headlock and a shoulder tackle of his own. Roman Reigns tried to take him down with a clothesline, but Jacob Fatu stayed on his feet. Jacob then blasted Roman with another shoulder tackle before clotheslining him over the top rope into the floor. Jacob Fatu followed with a suicide dive and immediately looked for the Tongan death grip before shoving Roman into the ring post. Roman grabbed Jacob Fatu by the hair and pulled him to the floor by targeting Fatu's hand by slamming it into the ring post, trying to do anything he can to make sure that Jacob cannot do that Tongan death grip. Obviously, Jacob Fatu came to the ring in a something that was made by Haku, or something symbolizing Haku around his neck as well. So, Roman followed up with a punch, and both men returned to the ring. Back inside, Roman applied an arm wringer and sent Jacob Fatu into the turnbuckles. Fatu responded with punches and headbutts, but Roman fired back with an uppercut and punches of his own. Roman Reigns climbed to the turnbuckles and rained down punches on Jacob Fatu, but Fatu shoved him off. Roman recovered with clotheslines in the corner, only for Fatu to answer with a short arm clothesline and a series of headbutts. A lot of hard-hitting action in this match. Fatu then sent Roman's shoulder first into the ring post. Fatu missed a splash in the corner, giving Roman an opening to fire back with multiple clotheslines and a flying clothesline. Roman followed with a running boot before connecting with a Superman punch, but Jacob Fatu kicked out at 2. Roman looked stunned when Fatu immediately jumped back up. Fatu answered with punches, but Roman stopped him with a kick. Jacob came back with clotheslines and a splash in the corner before driving headbutts into Roman Reigns. He followed up with a running hip attack in the corner and went for another one, but Roman recovered in time and blasted him with another Superman punch for a count of 2. Jacob Fatu rolled out to the floor, and Roman Reigns followed him outside. Roman connected with a drive-by, and then the old famous drive-by Roman used to do a lot during that long reign, and then started clearing off the announce table. Fatu suddenly grabbed Roman again with that Tongan death grip, which he did a lot. He put that on Roman a lot tonight. Roman tried to fight out of it, but Fatu powered him up and drove him through the announce table with a power bomb. Jacob rolled Roman back into the ring and charged towards the corner, but Roman exploded out with a spear but Jacob Fatu kicked out at 2 from the spear. Roman Reigns looked around the arena, lined up for another spear, but before he could hit it, Jacob Fatu caught him with a pop-up Samoan drop. Fatu then went up top and followed it up with a double jump moonsault off the top rope. And Roman Reigns is the absolute king at kicking out at 2 3/4. He kicked out at 2 7/8. Very close ball. Jacob Fatu stayed aggressive with multiple diving headbutts before unloading with punches on Roman. Jacob Fatu climbed back to the top rope and went for the Swanton Bomb, but Roman got his knees up to counter it. 2 men stood face to face in the middle of the ring and started trading punches before continuing the exchange while bouncing off the ropes. Jacob regained control with 2 running hip attacks in the corner before signaling for that Tongan death grip again. He locked it in, and Roman started fading as the referee checked his arm. As he went to drop it, Roman's arm dropped twice, but on the third check, it stayed up. Roman Reigns is still alive. Roman then backed Fatu in the corner, accidentally knocking the referee down in the process. Roman Reigns connected with a Superman punch, but Fatu answered with a super kick. Roman immediately fired back with a pop-up Superman punch and followed it with a spear, but Jacob Fatu kicks out again of the Roman Reigns spear. This time, Roman's like looking around, asking the referee, like, was it 2? He was super shocked. Jacob locked in the Tongan death grip again, but Roman Reigns escaped by driving Fatu into the turnbuckles. Roman, as he, like the referee behind him, he grabs the top of the turnbuckle and takes the turnbuckle pad, the top turnbuckle pad off. He exploded. Roman Reigns escaped by driving Fatu into the turnbuckles. Roman Reigns then exploded with a spear. For the 3rd time, he hit the spear on Jacob Fatu and got the 1, 2, 3. So Roman Reigns defeated Jacob Fatu to retain the WWE Raw Men's Heavyweight Championship. But we wasn't done. After the match, Jacob Fatu absolutely went ballistic and snapped. He argued with the referee before grabbing Roman and applying the Tongan death grip again. Fatu locked it in a second time and then hit the referee with a pop-up Samoan drop. Fatu applied the Tongan death grip again once more as the official rushed to the ring, but he destroyed everyone, including Adam Pearce. He was throwing everybody out of the ring. Everyone had tried to stop him. Jacob finally left the ring, but then turned around and came back again and attacked Roman Reigns again with another Tongan death grip. Fatu then took the championship belt and stood tall over Roman Reigns while holding up the championship as the show came to a close. And Roman Reigns was interviewed saying that was going to be Jacob Fatu's last time ever on TV, which we know it's not. And then Jacob, they showed Jacob saying that, look at Roman, I kicked his ass. Like, y'all ain't never seen anyone crash out like this before. So that is it, guys, for Backlash. I did get it in less than an hour. I'm gonna give the PLE somewhere between a 7 and a 7.5. I think the matches were a lot longer. Obviously still had the commercials and the ads and stuff like that. But the matches were a lot better quality compared to like the night 1 WrestleMania matches and some of the night 2 WrestleMania matches. But the only problem now is where WWE is going to run into a problem is that we got a week off. So now they have this coming up week, Raw and SmackDown, to build towards Saturday. Well, they're gonna have 2 Raws and 2 SmackDowns before Saturday night's main event. So they're gonna have to start building Saturday night's main event card. And on top of that, they're already going to have to be in the process of building Clash in Italy because it is literally the week after that. So program note, Clash in Italy is going to be on a Sunday, the last Sunday of May. I will more than likely I will still be doing the LFG show that day, but I don't think I will be doing Sunday night scoops on the last May. I'll obviously make that announcement tomorrow on Doubleheader Sunday, but I think it's going to be coming on early, like 3 p.m. Eastern or something. So it'll give me time to watch the PLE, do the recap show for Italy, the Clash in Italy recap show, and then come back later Sunday night. So it'll still be doubleheader Sunday. It just won't be a scoops on the weekend of Clash at Italy. It'll be a Clash at Italy recap show, and then I will do LFG. I'm not sure what episode it'll be. Probably like episode 6 or 7 by then. Because tomorrow is episode number 3. So I believe it'll be like episode 6. But this has been your another thing. I want to thank you guys. Like I said, if you guys are watching this live on YouTube, shout out to everyone from DWE, obviously. Big shout out to everyone that helped promote the Backlash Prediction Show. We had over 1,300 viewers just on the DWE TV page, television page on X. Make sure you give that a follow. Talk It Up podcast. To the Slam podcast. Make sure you tune into the Rundown with Greg and Kyle on an hour before Raw on Mondays. On the Smoke Sessions as well. Give them a follow on YouTube, the Talk It Up podcast as well. And everybody affiliated with Gimmick Table Media. Like I said, a lot of content coming up. I mean, next week's going to be the lighter week to kind of get me ready for the last 2 weeks of the month, because I'm just hoping we have cards for me to be able to do these prediction shows. Because obviously I do the prediction shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm hoping that we have enough matches. I know we have this whole week, Monday and Friday, and then we'll have another Monday. And that'll be the go home Monday before Saturday night's main event. So I'm hoping we have some matches made for Saturday night's main event, so that when we do the prediction show, we have matches to cover. There will be a Saturday night's main event prediction show, a Saturday night's main event recap, a Clash in Italy prediction show, and also a Clash in Italy recap. Now, the Clash in Italy show will be on a Sunday, so that will interfere with Sunday Scoop, the last Sunday of the month, but I will make that announcement tomorrow. If you guys, like I said, if you guys go back and watch the stream live on the Backlash recap show, make sure you hit that like button, turn that notification bell on, and shout out to all of you guys for last night. It's absolutely incredible. I didn't even see over 100 in the SmackDown recap when I was live, but I think I ended up with close to 180 views on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for that. My channel kind of had been slowing down a little bit after WrestleMania, but after last night, it definitely picked back up. So I'm not sure what we're looking at on numbers for tonight, but hopefully you guys will go back and watch the stream. And if you do, make sure you hit that like button. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the outro, and I will be back to tell you guys where you can find me on my socials, what I have coming up for you guys on Doubleheader Sunday tomorrow, and what I have coming up this coming up week.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let show recaps prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go.
Once again, thank you everybody who tuned in. Stampede, I saw you in the comments, to the EVP Backlash Recap Show live Saturday, May 9th, 2026. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. Obviously, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to the fathers that maybe maybe, who knows? I'll say it to both. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be a difficult day for me. Lost my mother back in October. So, you know, Mother's Day is going to feel a little bit different tomorrow, but I will be still streaming. I'm going to take care of all the Mother's Day stuff early in the morning, but I will be back tomorrow for doubleheader Sunday. But happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you guys have a great day. Happy Mother's Day to all my children's mothers as well. Hope you guys have a fantastic day as well. Yeah, so but let's get to like I said, let's get to the social media stuff. You can see it scrolling across the bottom in blue. All my links are in my bio. If you're looking for me on, so I'll go ahead and tell you like that. You can find my YouTube page on any of these social media platforms. But if you follow me on X, if you're looking for me on X, you can find me at EVPCJP on X. You can see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. Now, once you follow me, I follow you back. If you go all the way up to the top of my page is pinned at the top. Make sure if you ever get a chance, just retweet it. That does a lot for me, a lot, from my page. It helps me out a lot, tremendously. It really does. Because it gets new eyes on my channel. Hopefully, new subscriptions, because I'm at 223, I believe, and my goal is to try to get to 300 by SummerSlam. So my Instagram account is still a business account, and my YouTube channel is linked in the bio. So if you're looking for me on Instagram, like I said, I just got a follow from Nikita Lyons' mom on Instagram. I guess she saw the LFG thing, liked it, and sent me a follow. So that was nice of her to do for sure. If you're looking for me on Instagram, you can find me at EVPCJP, also on Instagram. And then on TikTok, you can find me at Brady the Goat 21. That's at Brady at BRADYDA Goat 21. Last but not least, most importantly, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said, if you can't find my YouTube channel, what's going on, Peter? I believe one of the Uso brothers plays range for the WWE title. I think he's going to end up facing both of them at some point. I think he's definitely going to end up facing Jay for sure. But I do think he is going to face one of the Usos before his title reign is over for sure. I'll talk about that on Scoop tomorrow, obviously. But so yeah, last but not least, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said, it is pinned on all of my social media platforms. So retweet it, share it with your friends. If you think they are enjoying my content, if you guys enjoy it, please share it with your friends. Tell them to hit that subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, hit that notification bell and come and join me live every time. I have over 900 plus live videos on here. So I do appreciate you guys' support. And you guys absolutely killed it last night, getting me to almost 200 views on YouTube. I think it got really close to my record. I think the WrestleMania one got to like 199. And I think this one, the SmackDown recap from last night was like 180 something or something like that. So shout out to you guys for that. Thank you so much. Hopefully I can get like half of that for this. We'll see. It's just so up and down with YouTube. So, but if you are looking for my YouTube channel and you can't find it on any of my social media platforms, go to the search bar and type in at the EVP Show. Hit that subscribe button and then turn that notification bell on and come join me for all wrestling content you can handle. I can assure you, tons of shorts, 900 plus live videos, and a couple pre-recorded. So what I have coming up next for you guys, tomorrow is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers out there. But it is doubleheader Sunday, number 3. Come join me at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP episode number 20. And then I'm back tomorrow night for LFG Season 3 episode number 3. LFG Season 3, Episode 3 at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. So that will be the doubleheader Sunday coming up tomorrow on Mother's Day. So you guys hit that notification bell and come join me for both shows tomorrow. Monday, I'm back at 11 p.m. Eastern Time for your Raw recap show as we are on the way to Saturday night's main event and Clash at Italy. Tuesday, I'm back at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for your NXT recap show. And Wednesday, I'm off. And next Thursday, you can catch me back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for the TNA recap show. Next Friday, hopefully we get in some build towards Saturday night's main event. And we'll see what's going to happen between Cody Rhodes and Gunther as they head for their title match at Clash at Italy. You can catch the SmackDown recap live here on the EVP show Friday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And then come join me again next Sunday, a week from tomorrow, for doubleheader Sunday number 4. Join me first off at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP episode number 21. And then come finish out the week strong at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time with LFG Season 3 episode number 4. With that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning. I'm going to give Backlash about a 7.5 tops. I'm not going over that. It was a good show. Wasn't the best I've ever seen, but it wasn't the worst. It definitely was better than I thought it was going to be. I do think I'll talk about a lot of the stuff about Roman and Jacob and where I think they're going with a lot of these storylines going into Saturday night's main event, Clash of Italy and SummerSlam, or Night of Champions also as well, Saudi Arabia. So I'm going to talk about all of that tomorrow on Scoops. To tell you where I think they're headed with everything, what they're probably going to do with these PLEs. Obviously, the John Cena tournament, I have no idea how that's going to work. So we're going to try to figure all that out. But yeah, so hopefully you guys have a happy Mother's Day tomorrow. And after you have your lunch, brunch, late dinner, come tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, live for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP. And then come back tomorrow night. I know you got to go to work Monday, so it's always a short stream. Come join me for LFG Season 3, Episode number 3. And also shout out to Nikita Lyons for reposting that on her X page. It is on either the first or second post on her X page on Nikita Lyons. She did repost it and she commented. So shout out to Nikita for that. Much love. Thank you for that. She's on the thumb for the LFG show tomorrow. So that's probably why she reposted it. With that being said, guys, this is your Backlash recap live here on the EVP show, Saturday, May 9th, 2026. I am the EVP from the EVP show and the golden boy of DWE. And DWE is the place to be. Hopefully you guys have a happy Mother's Day and come hit that notification bell and join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern live for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP, and come back later on that night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for LFG Season 3 episode number 3. Enjoy your Mother's Day to all the ladies out there, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the first part and hopefully the second part, Sunday Night Scoops at 6 p.m. Eastern and LFG Season 3 episode 3 tomorrow. Good night, everyone.